Hey everybody, welcome back to the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube, Pit Stain Hobbies. I'm your tank commander Ian, and we're not building Pack 12 just yet. We're going to do some weathering today. FYI, all the products I use today for the most part will be linked in the description below. If you buy them with those links, it's the same price. It helps out the channel though. Either way, whenever the whoever went to photograph this tank, when they called the Bundeswehr, I hope I didn't butcher that, or AKA the German tank army people, they said, "Hey, we want to photograph a 2A6. We're going to build a really awesome scale model." And the Bundeswehr, that's the last time I'm saying that for this video because I know I'll just butcher it again. 3 times. That's the rule. It's like Beetlejuice. They definitely cleaned this tank pretty well before they showed up for the glamour shots by Deb. The German army in general does have a very good tank cleaning regimen. You could watch some videos on YouTube. It's kind of fun if you're a bored nerd like I am. Nothing better to do with their time. But either way, we're down here and we're looking at these tracks. And that's not how the tracks look to come out of the model. The tracks look beautiful to come out of the model. You know, they got rubber pads, front, top and bottom, which is very nice. They got this nice coating. They're not just bare like, pot metal like zinc or Zamac or whatever they're made out of. So they got this nice coating, but they're just a bit shiny for my taste. And if they meant tanks to be that shiny tracked, there would be some chrome plating on there or something. I don't know. But here's the picture. You can see the tank itself is pretty darn spick and span. Little bit of dirt dust, on there, but those tracks are good and oxidized. They're in perfect condition, like perfect. All the track pads look great, but they got the dirt ground into the rubber pad. And you can see the inner rubber pads. Those are actually pretty clean, as are the rubber road wheel tires. It's like they put friggin' Armor All on this thing before they showed up for the photo shoot. But this tank is very spiffy, but these tracks could look a little more, normal used. Like tanks in real life do. So we took these shiny tracks, and what we did is we built the whole length of them. We masked off all the track pads. Kind of a pain in the butt, but it's not difficult work. It's just tedious. We then sprayed them down with Tamiya XF69 NATO Black. Okay, it's just a good base. That's all it is. It's a good base. And what we ended up with was this. And they look pretty damn nice. And you could throw them on the tank just like this if you want. You could just, before you peel the masking off, clear coat them with flat clear and have at it. But it's definitely a little more realistic than this. But we're going to, in this video, show you how to get them looking like this. Look at that. We got not as much dirt ground into the outer track pads. The inner track pads are pretty clean, but look at that. Okay, pretty close. Now, I wanted to make this process as simple as possible because some partworks builders are not advanced modelers with paints and weatherings and all this stuff. It can be extremely intimidating. We're going to kick on our other overhead light now that we don't have that piece of paper glaring at us. It can be very intimidating to get your tracks looking all nice and rusty. Okay? So to do that, we're going to take some, we'll show the unweathered track near the weathered track so you can see the differences there. Now, for this, I broke out my set of Tamiya Weathering Masters. Now, this is the full 6-pack, A through F. For this, we're only using A. Okay? And I got a brand new one just so I could show you what it looks like brand new. And the one I'm actually going to use is probably about 10 years old. And it's just beat old thing. And I've used it a lot. And it's great stuff. But that's for the rubber pads. Now, to get the rust on the tracks, like I said, first we're going to mask all the rubber pads and pre-paint with XF69 NATO Black. And then we are going to mix up a concoction. And this is all safe for indoor use. Okay, the XF69, you can spray indoors, it's fine. This you could use indoor. I mean, try to not, have somewhere safe to spray paint. If you don't have an airbrush, you can get a rattle can of this, and that you'll need to use outdoors or in a properly ventilated setup. But this stuff is all the Vallejo acrylic stuff. So we have light rust, uh, light rust wash, and then we have the new rust pigment. We have a little 1 ounce plastic medicine cup, mouthwash cup, shot glass, whatever, whatever the mood suits you. And we do have some extra little swabs here because after 10 years, the swab that comes with this Tamiya set is pretty munched. We're not going to use that thing. So I get these big giant pack of these makeup swabs, for not many dollars on Amazon. And these makeup swabs are perfect for putting on weathering. You just rub it in there and see I'm just gonna oh well, that's an inner trackpad. I'll just show you. You kind of just rub it on there, tap it on there. There you go. And you get that effect. We're not doing this right now. That stuff does rub off, so we are going to clear coat everything afterwards. But that's what we're using. And then to seal everything in, I use Mr. Hobby Super Clear Matte. So I put a link down below to that as well. Definitely spray this stuff either outdoors or in a well-ventilated location. Like if you have a spray booth, which not a lot of people do, but just go out in the driveway or something in the parking lot. Make your cloud of death out there. Don't breathe that stuff in. Indoors, I still wouldn't recommend spraying it, but if you are, you should wear a proper paint respirator for your safety. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. Is I will be wearing a respirator, and I do have a carbon multi-stage air filter evacuation system set up to take the fumes. So we're going to put our brand... Oh, it's so nice. I don't want to open it. But yeah, this is the set of 6. I'll have the link to the set of 6 because we're going to use some more of these probably when we're weathering up the rest of the tank. We're going to use 1 or 2 of these maybe. So it's a nice set to have, and they're great for all part works. Any part work you're building, you could always find something in here to use. You have sand, light sand, mud, snow, soot, rust, orange rust, gunmetal, silver, burnt blue, burnt red, oil stain. Hey, it's pretty close. It's almost named after me. Yellow, gray, green, and then we have the metals like titanium, like gunmetal, copper. These are great things to have handy for doing some mild weathering to part works. That's not very difficult to do. There we go. So let's get everything. Come on, in frame, dude. There we go. Okay. I have a T on here because I already thinned it down with some isopropyl alcohol for airbrushing, but again, you can find a rattle can online. Maybe I'll put a link to that also. So basically, I'm going to pull in Andy's hobby headquarters here and say, let's get started. All right, let's make a huge mess. Now, hopefully not. We put down some craft paper on the table here. We have a brush out. I have a fairly wide brush here because the insides, the track pads are smaller. So you can use a bigger brush. We're going to take our little cup here and we're going to take our Vallejo new rust pigment. And it's kind of like mixing your wasabi at the sushi restaurant. We're going to put a decent... Oh, that was too much. I don't know. I'm trying to get like I don't know. Oh, forget it. It's going everywhere. We'll just make a whole bunch. Forget it. We're just weathering all the tracks tonight. I don't know. If you wanted to measure it, I mean, maybe almost a teaspoon in there, maybe a little less. Shake up your... This just doesn't look suggestive. Shake up your wash. Okay. I have another big bottle in reserve in case I need it. And we're going to squirt a bunch in there. And I'd say about a 1-to-1 ratio to start. Let's see how that works out for us. And let's just try to mix this up. And you want to get all the powder. Now, this wash already has some pigment powder in it, but I add extra pigment powder for extra goodness and extra rustiness. So we're just going to mix this up real quick here. Okay, and it's pretty good. It's still pretty runny. Okay. But we got a good amount of pigment powder in there. And really, it is kind of like mixing your wasabi at the restaurant. Okay, if you're not a fan of sushi, I'm so sorry. And we're just going to take this and we're just going to kind of slather it down. We're going to let that brush run along the outside of those links. And we want to lay it on there. Oh, it's okay if you get in rubber pads. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Don't worry about it. This is for non-experienced modelers. I am not. I'm very mediocre. Okay, as you may know, Mediocre Modelers page on Facebook. I hang out there all the time. You want to come say hi? Okay, so we got some of that slathered on there, and we'll come down the middle, and we're just gonna kind of blam it in there. Okay, it's fine if it gets on the pads. Okay, and just kind of keep stirring that up while you're doing this. Okay, and I'm going to continue on the outside, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're doing between our last few links here. We're going back and forth between the links, and this is definitely going to go through and puddle up in the bottom and all that, but I made a huge mess of this because I want to show you it's very simple. I'm doing this in the caveman way, okay? I'm not a great modeler, and there may be people like totally intimidated by thinking, oh my God, weathering products and weathering the tracks. This is all acrylic. It's non-toxic. Not non-toxic. Don't drink this stuff, okay? And then we're gonna take a paper towel, and we're gonna go down just one nice smooth motion down the track pads, okay? And then fold over your paper towel and get a fresh section of it, okay? And we're just gonna go over those pads, and we're just gonna suck up anything. Any of our whoopsies, okay? And I make a lot of whoopsies. So there we go. Now, it doesn't look very good yet. The trick is when this stuff dries, it gets chalky. It gets kind of chalky like that because of the pigment. The pigment is that light chalky stuff. So when this all dries, it's going to look completely different. Before it dries, we do want to flip our pads over, and look at the mess we've created on this. Oh, let me zoom out a tiny bit here, so we're back in frame. We made a huge mess on the other side too now. So now we're going to take some more of our unmolested paper towel here, and see, it already got some in the little nooks and crannies on the outside of the track pads. We just wipe that off. All right, and we'll flip her back over onto some of the cleaner paper, and basically we got to wait for this to dry. So I will actually make more of a mess on the other side, and what the hell, I'm going to start doing this too here. So I'm going to use the brush the narrow way and go right down the middle, and I'm going to be for some reason this side's a little easier, probably because there's no center guide horns in there on the track links to mess you up. And I'm not going to say that German army name again of that unit because I will butcher it. But they would not scoff at this model if you brought it to them after doing this to the tracks alone, let alone the second stage we're going to do with adding the dirt. But yeah, you see how easy this is? I mean, it's really, we made just enough of this concoction. You can always go over it again if you don't feel like you got enough. You can always add a little more. You could always remove and add weathering before you seal things in, which is the end of the video. So we're not going to spoil that for you. So I'm going to go get out a hairdryer or an electric heat gun. I actually have this thing handy, but this is like the Pentagon buying toilet seats. This is the most expensive way to dry paint humanly known to man. But go steal your wife's travel hairdryer. That'll work perfect. Or if you're the wife, use your travel hairdryer. It'll work perfect. We'll be right back. One more thing. It's always one more thing. I have these little disposable chemical brushes, and they're great for this. I actually forgot to mention you can go straight in after putting on your concoction, and you can kind of dust on some extra, and kind of, there we go. Let's just do that. It's going to make it look even better. Trust me. Trust me. I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night. I don't know if the Brits will get that joke. Do you have Holiday Inn Expresses in the UK? You gotta. Okay. Do that. There we go. Make it a little extra fallout. This is going to use a lot of pigment powder, so you might want to buy 2 jars. And we can go ahead and we can crust up the insides as well a little. After you do this, you may have to May have to clean off a bit more of the weathering schmoo that we put on there before. Well, let's just go ahead and get these good and dusted up. I have like 2 extra jars of this new rust pigment powder at my disposal. So you might want to get a couple. It's pretty much. I'm sure there's some bulk product that would do the same thing probably. That's not a Hobby Baron product. That would be like way cheaper. But I'm not aware of it, and I haven't bothered. And then obviously we'll want to wipe away, and also just driving the tank afterwards with the rubber tires pushing down on the rubber track pads. It is going to wear off quite a bit. Also, the outer pads, they'll get worn pretty clean if you're driving around on clean pavement. Okay, so now we're going to let this dry. That's how it looks now. Like it's all kind of a mess. All right, we'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Now it's still going to look a little damp here and there. It's fine. That's fine. It's if you leave all this stuff on, it's never really it's going to take forever to dry. We're going to take our trusty old toothbrush. I brush my teeth with this every day. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. It's just for this. We want to go between the tracks like so, and just clean some of this out, some of the extra. Okay, we don't want it to be completely caked on there, so we're just going to clean some of this off of here. Okay, pretty easy so far. I don't have a link to a cheap toothbrush on my Amazon store, but however, if you go to the dentist regularly, as you should, everybody, dental hygiene is very important. Is you want to take your free sample take-home toothbrush from the dentist and just go down and just give them a rub, and don't forget the outside. I'm gonna go back and forth so we get between the teeth, the links. I mean, it's like an ad for Oral-B over here, or Sensodyne or whatever. And just give it a quick brush and brush out the giant excess globs that we made. It's pretty normal. Weathering is applying and then removing, and then applying and then removing, and then applying and then removing, and then you're doing the Macarena. Okay. And okay, there we go. That. And then I can get a fresh piece of Mr. Towel-y here and just rub down those rubber track pads on the outside. All right. Give them a little bit of a whack. And then you want to put these aside, or on their side, out of the way. All right. And then we're going to clean up our paper, put a fresh piece of paper down to do our next phase of weathering. So I shall return. And just like some professional cooking show, we have a clean work surface again, ish. Now, there's another tool to use to remove excess weathering from the rubber pads, and it is your fingies. The human skin has natural oils in it and stuff, and it naturally cleans the rubber pads pretty darn well. And you could clean your hands in between phases with a moisturizing hand soap that's pH balanced and won't try. No, kidding. Anything. I don't care. Take the palm of your sweaty, clammy modeling hand and just drag it across there. Okay? Now see how it didn't rub off of here? You can still see a little, because I clear coated that previously. All right, so we're going to take, this is now the outer track pads, and now we're going to take our Maybelline, our Tamiya makeup palette, no, our Weathering Master palette, and we're going to take our little makeup sponge, we're going to rub it in the sand, okay? And we're going to rub it down all these track pads. And let me zoom in a little. It's a little hard to see. Here we go. So we're just gonna rub it onto those track pads, nice and good. Okay, good amount. Get it on there. And you know if you want to use, you could flip this over and you could use some of the other color too. Oh, that's a nice effect. Also, which one is that? That's the light sand. So we're just going to get a good layer. It doesn't have to be really uniform or even or anything. You just kind of want to get it all on there so you see some of it. See? There. It's a little hard to see. There we go. That's a better view. And just get it all on there all the way down the length. And, you know, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to apply a good amount of it. You want to get these nice and sandy. You want to look like that. You want to look like that photo in the. I'm just mixing colors here. It doesn't matter. Sand, light sand. Use them both. I think this side was the sand. And these makeup sponges, you know, I'm a little rough on them, and they go pretty quick. They start getting chewed up, and you can switch to the other side, grab another one. They're so cheap. Huge packages of them are inexpensive. Link below. I'm just making that easy for you. I'm not trying to run my own version of the home shopping network here, but I figured make it convenient. So I'm going to go through all of these and just get them sanded up on the rubber outer pads. The inner pads we're not going to do because they're not dirty on the photo of the model of the specimen tank that they used for their photo shoot. I'm going to get the rest of these done. We'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, well, 2 makeup brushes later, I went to a second one. I mostly actually used the middle one, the light sand. It gave me a nicer finish. I might go back over the other tracks. But the beauty is in the ununiformity, okay? So there we go. We got them all nice and done up. They look really good so far, but they're going to look better. And a little more mellow. We're going to spray them down with some Mr. Super Clear Matte. Again, do this in a well-ventilated area, wearing a respirator, or outside. One or the other, something like that. You don't want to breathe the fumes in. You know, your kids might come out with like 3 hands or something. But we're going to get these cleared real quick. Everyone knows how to spray out of a can, so I don't need to show you because I don't want to mess up my whole workbench area. I'll be back in a sec. All weathered up and nowhere to go. So everybody, we started with these, the factory kit parts from Agora models. They're very nice. Okay, as far as metal tracks with rubber they're some of the nicest I've personally worked with. But they can always be improved upon. So then we did our NATO black paint job on there after we masked off all the rubber pads. And then we did our weathering. So there we go. Look at that. There's the outer track pads. The rubber's all dusty and the inners are still nice, pretty clean rubber. And we got our little oxidation, our rust all over there. And it doesn't have to be perfectly uniform. Looks great. All the products we used here, I think the link in my, the link I'm going to send will actually go to this. It's just a much bigger bottle of it. But either way, that's basically everything you need. Not much skill involved, as you can see. You know, toothbrushes, paintbrushes, basic stuff. There's nothing, you know, you're going to make a mess. But it's very easy to do. Anybody can do this, I feel. It's pretty simple. I did it this way specifically for a partwork build. There's definitely many, many ways to weather tracks, to muddy them up, to dusty them up, to dirty them up, to do all sorts of crazy stuff. This is very basic. This was the first weathering product I ever used, was this Tamiya, literally this exact one. That's why it's all so beat up and old. This stuff, you can't go wrong with the Weathering Masters from Tamiya as a beginner weathering thing and even an advanced weathering thing. Advanced modelers still use pigments all the time. Sometimes they just go to the, the bottled stuff. But yeah, that's it. Now, we have a challenge. I have a challenge. If anyone's watched to the end, you email me a link to your Facebook post of you weathering your tracks on not just your Leopard 2A6, but any tank model you've made. But hopefully the Leopard 2A6 from Agora, because it's an awesome model. You email me that link, okay? And then I will contact you to mail you a super limited edition, super special edition Pit Stain Hobbies keychain. So you can have a little pit stain in your pocket, wherever you go. But either way, that's it for this video. Please click the links to Agora models below to get this awesome model. Check the links for all the products I've used in this video. If you want to order any of them, they're great for a lot of things. And hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. on the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube. Yes, I have a bag of keychains here. They're for only special occasions. They are limited edition. There's only like 49 of these. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Click the links, like, subscribe, do the thing. Adios.